Facebook Live show with our Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce and my good friend from Miami's community newspapers, Grant Miller.
Grant Miller here.
Now, you may not know this, but you're hearing the song and the dulcet tones of the Red Hot Chili Peppers singing Californication, because today is National Chili Day. And Grant, tell me this. What is your favorite topping on a piping hot bowl of chili?
Oh, good question.
The hard-hitting questions are always on this show, by the way.
I like some cheese on there.
Cheese is numero uno. Give me two more that you might go with.
I know this is strange, ground beef.
Ground beef is great, but what if there's already beef in the chili? You want a little more meat on top?
A little more.
You're greedy. You're greedy, my friend.
And a sausage chopped down.
So here are my top three.
Okay, go.
Cheese, sour cream, little jalapenos.
Wow.
And here's the deal. You're going to enjoy that, and about 30 minutes later, it's going to exit you in a rapid-fire succession. But it is National Chili Day, so if you haven't thought about it, get out there. How about go visit our great friend, Dave Arbiter? Get a little chili on top of your Grant Miller hot dog. Guess what he sent over for me?
Hold on, wait.
The big reveal.
I got the hat. Okay.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you know this, but soon this will be officially known as Tro Tots whenever you go to Arbiter's. Not only because they're the best tater tots in the business, but because you get it at a place that cares about our community, has contributed for years, and is iconic along the Bird Road corridor. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Tro Tots for the win.
And that's a half hour ago, too.
They're perfectly fine and perfectly delicious.
Can I test?
Yeah, I hope so.
And
Now go easy. Those big grubbing hands coming across the barrier there.
Yeah. So go to Arbiter's. Go on our Facebook, Grant Miller. Look at it. I'm wearing a hat, Arbiter's hat. They're hard to get.
Yeah, it looks like it.
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
Okay.
You need to open an Etsy store on his behalf. Share the proceeds with him.
All right. So what's going on? February's coming to a close. What's up?
I can't believe it. I mean, February ends here in just about 4 days. You know, it is the shortest month of the year. Last year, 2020, it was leap year, so we had an extra day. Who could have thunk that here we are a year later? What would have happened in all of 2020 coming out of February? Because by the time we got to the second week of March, third week, our economy was closed, our businesses were shuttered. People were not only socially distancing, they were hunkered down at home because that was what we were told to do. And almost a year later, well, we're still having some struggles. Still wearing our great masks, and I encourage you all to do that. And most importantly, we're still having to take care of one another. Vaccines rolling out. We're getting good news. I saw that the governor today said that Florida should have access at all ages by April. So not being 65 or 55 with a pre-existing condition, but by the time we get to April, we'll have enough supply that anybody and everybody in Florida can get vaccinated. So that's good news. And today, the FDA is looking at our friends at Johnson & Johnson, and hopefully they're going to get approved for emergency use. And then we'll have 3 vaccines on the market with AstraZeneca soon to follow. We already have Pfizer and Moderna. Next is J&J, and then hopefully AstraZeneca, which is available in parts of Europe. So it's got good efficacy. We just need to get it approved here in the U.S.
Johnson & Johnson, they already have 20 million.
They were making it. They knew that they had met the thresholds. They just had to go before the FDA today. And it's a single dose.
If you divide it up, we're going to get a couple 100,000 down here just on Johnson & Johnson.
Understood. And there's a belief by the time we get into early summer that we're going to have potentially a surplus, which means A, we can probably share that with other countries that have not had the direct access that we have, and B, we can get into those neighborhoods and communities that sometimes are both underserved and have challenges for access for not only medical care, but certainly the vaccine.
Correct. And by that time, hopefully they'll have a vaccine. Right now, it's just a vaccine, but
a booster.
A booster.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being kind of like when we get a flu shot, that because these viruses are very smart, they know how to mutate, they know how to kind of, dodge and weave and evade. And I think what you end up with there is great science, great collaborations, folks coming together using the best minds in the business, not only here in this country, but all across the world, collaborating like never before. And listen, I think what we're going to see is a booster shot that will know kind of what that mutation or maybe variant looks like, and it'll just be something you do every year, folks. So if you're still worried about getting the vaccine, please, please make good decisions about your health and the health of those around you. Do your homework, do your research, but I hope that when it's available to you, you'll take the shot.
We got 2 or 3 more days until February is over.
Yeah, February 28th, Sunday.
How's the love campaign coming?
The love campaign has been good. You know, we've had already about 12 or 13 members join. I'm hoping we're going to close big today and tomorrow. And we've got 5 new trustees, which is really awesome.
Who are they?
Well, I have to kind of cheat off of your paper, but I'll start with our friends at Pita Weber Del Prado. Rosanna Weber, by the way, was just visiting at our offices, and I'm sorry I wasn't there, but she said they look really good.
The husband, the wife.
It's two husbands and wives working together. So she works with her husband Randy, and then you have the
Shana,
the other family. I don't know them as well because she's more involved in our chamber.
As you know, I know you're holding back the councilman of Pinecrest.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, newly elected. And they got RM Packaging?
Yep, RM Packaging Graphics joined us. Our friends at the Franchise Consulting Company, Republica Havas, or as we call them, Havas House. And, of course, our brand new one from yesterday, VMI Global. Thank you, Vanel. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you to Eddie Rodriguez, the whole team. And now we're doing canned applause. Why wasn't there applause when I announced the Trotots? We're here in the house. Okay, very good, very good.
So once a week, the city and chamber goes out and does visits retail stores?
So we used to do that, the retail visits, we used to do that quarterly. So I would go with the head of our retail strategy and economic development department, Francesca Valdez. We just had stopped doing that because a lot of stores were closed. A lot of new businesses were putting off opening, especially retail. And so last Friday, we went and visited 14 locations. So it was a great day. Some of whom were already members of the chamber. Like we started at the new cafe at Del Monte, at the new cafe they've opened in the ground floor there.
Right.
On Valencia. So check that out. It's open 7 to 7, 6 days a week.
But it's exciting that the chamber and the city are working together to make sure that retail outlets, they all, sometimes they're scared of bringing up a comment. I don't want to call the code enforcer. I don't want to call the mayor. They get nervous.
Sure. Listen, I think that's a very valid point. I think sometimes when we're there together, it's a little bit of a tag team approach. I can tell you that when we started out, had breakfast at the new cafe there, which I think is going to be a real hit, especially for that area of the community of Valencia, very walkable for all of those office buildings and professional offices. And again, Chef Louis is there. He is headquartered in California, but he comes and this is their first concept of having in the Del Monte corporate offices an outward-facing cafe. And guess what they sell there?
What?
Pink pineapples.
Wow.
Very cool. Then we headed out to kind of South Gables. We're trying to pay a little bit more attention there. And we visited with 3 or 4 stores there around Whip and Dip. You know that neighborhood on Sunset.
Family-owned business, locally owned, buy local, shop
and
local.
And a great new place called The Showroom. And we met the 2 owners there. Very cool to hang out with them. And what they told us is that this is their second location. They had their first location in the Grove, and now this is their second location. And guess what? They said the city was very helpful in getting their permit and helping them get their business open.
Before we go,
love to hear that.
Before we get to the comments, I just got off the phone.
I love that you're taking calls in the middle of our show.
I'm making this up.
So we just go to a close shot so that we can't see you.
Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm gonna act like I'm making calls. Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Keon. Yes. Vice Mayor Vincelago. Yes. Good. So the winner of the mayor's race will go on those retail visits each time you do it.
Very nice.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Pat. Even though you didn't call me, that's what the mayor needs to do. The new mayor needs to go out on the street, get out of the ivory tower, and go stores. What's not an ivory tower? Second floor.
Sort of like
no, they're on the first floor or the second floor.
Second floor is City Hall. They have their offices.
I think it's important. Like the police chief of Coral Gables, he's out. So I think Coral Gables is still thriving.
Listen, we're blessed to have a commission that I think is very approachable, very accessible, very connected to the chamber, very good about the business issue and making the business case. And I have no doubt that either Vince or Pat would not only welcome that opportunity, applaud both of them, approachable when it comes to even challenges our businesses have. Because sometimes you go in and they're a little bit tormented.
Wait, can you read the comment from Dave
Yeah.
Arbetter?
I love it.
The top one?
I saw that. He said, the Joe Tots, y'all. Thank you. And then,
And Grant Miller here.
Grant Miller
and
here.
And Trowbridge rules. Boy, you're connected. So
I'm connected because you, my friend, are a connector. I am a connector, and that's what I think people enjoy. I was on a call this morning with our Business and Education Committee, and the chair said, Mark, I just want to thank you and let you know that I watch every week or as often as I can, and you and Grant, first of all, he said we had great chemistry. I love that.
Ooh.
I can't wait till you actually hit puberty and your hands grow. But more importantly, we have a connection because you love this community. You love this community. I'm adopted by this community. I got here when I was 23, 24 years old, but I've spent more than half my life here now at being 52. Well, and I've lived here longer than any other place.
I've been here 64.
Yeah.
I got 31 more years and I'm out of here. At 95, I'm moving.
So you're rounding. Where are you going to go at 95? I know where you should go.
Don't remind me. Okay.
Oh, you should go to Mount Dora.
I am not going to Mount Dora.
I think you look like someone who loves to antique in the afternoon.
Oh, social media engagement. What about Threefold and Sushi Maki?
Yeah, so one of the things that Morgan on our team and Christine on our team have been working on is that we want to continue to grow our social media presence. I'm really proud of what we do as a chamber in terms of our Instagram and our social media plugs and all of our platforms. We're programming across 5 different ones: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course Instagram. But I've really wanted to continue to grow our Instagram because we do a lot of sharing. A lot of our members are really great on the Insta and what they do and allow us to share that. So what we've done is partner with folks that we think are really great influencers. So Threefold.
Can I make a comment on these two guys? Threefold from Australia. Is that where he's from?
He is Australian, and his wife.
Brilliant business people, and super nice.
Listen, you and I were at a networker, actually an in-person networker there at Bay 13 last week, I think it was,
right,
with our friends from Greater Kendall Business Association. First of all, he puts out a generous amount of food, and it's been a weird time because we haven't been connecting in person. We haven't been going to receptions. We haven't been doing those types of things. So we probably had about 20, 25 people there.
Well, right. But
and
it really
what was cool was he put out an amazing Corvina. I think it was Corvina that was like his fish and chips.
Oh,
I literally, listen, I had to stay away from you because you were enjoying the chips. Oh. And I have to, that's not on the prescribed diet. Just like 5 tots will do it.
Sushi Maki, Abe, first of all, he's local.
Sure.
You know our model. Shop local, buy local. He went to Palmetto High School. He, grew up in the area.
What's the third piece of that? Shop local, buy local, love local. Love the local.
And the other thing is we tell people shop local, buy local, and if it's grown here, buy here. Because we have so much product in the Redland area that that they're competing from other countries. We need to buy local products. So talk about Threefold and Sushi Maki, the social.
So just really using their networks, leveraging their relationships. I think the cool thing is that, they're influencers in their stratosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we're kind of co-aligning with them. So just by a week's worth of alignment with Threefold, we got about 130 or so new followers on Instagram just in a week. So we'll do that again now with Sushi Maki, and we want to involve you in that one. We haven't quite figured out.
Well, we can't figure me out.
But we've talked about that with Abe and his team, and of course they know you and love you.
But it's interesting. HBO had a special about Instagram, how you could buy likes and buy comments. You can't. You can't do that. You want people when they see you.
It's got to be authentic.
They want to be homegrown. They want to go. Okay, boom. So, by the way,
so our goal is 5,000. When we started this, we were about 4,700. Our goal was to grow by Valentine's Day. It's going to take a little bit longer, but I don't know. Morgan can tell me now, but I think as of Monday, we were at about 4,850. So, Sushi Maki will help us get there.
Oh, these guys
are the last group, and then we're going to continue to do that. And we're coming up with some other ideas that are more like for-profit schemes in terms of influencers, like, a cool influencer box. So stay tuned for that. I think where we are adaptable and creative, um, I have to tell you, is that I love to see that. Morgan and Christine will bring ideas, and I think we really like to embrace that. And we have not paid for a single.
Good. And
Like.
it doesn't help. So people, doesn't matter how many you have, you got to make sure that they're yours and that they love you. Speak about loving. How many restaurants have we done in the last couple of weeks?
We have, and what's exciting is a number of other restaurants will open between now and probably the beginning of April, and we'll be going and visiting them too. We haven't been out to CZ Mediterranean. That just opened up. We're going to get them
155 to go.
to join. Yep. So, like I said, we're at that number.
That's David Singer.
I know. Where's the pizza, David?
Yeah.
Manja.
Okay. So what restaurant we just do yesterday?
We did Porto Sole, wonderful restaurant with some of the great folks that were at another Italian restaurant in Coral Gables that went out on their own. They opened right before the pandemic, and they're really thriving. Part of it is they have great indoor seating. They have these big windows that open. We were there yesterday, you, me, Aaron. He did a great job. We want to say hello to Lucio, but they joined as soon as they opened, and so I want to continue to do as much as possible supporting them.
Now, what other restaurants we did? We did the ice cream place.
We went to Freddo. We went to Coyo Taco. I mean, we've been all over the place.
Well, it's enjoyable because I work hard to maintain this body fat level.
Body built by restaurants. I suffer from the same consequences.
Okay, so Miracle Mile zoning, that was yesterday.
Another workshop. I think this may be the last one. I don't know.
Are they going to vote on it before the election?
I hope so. It's supposed to be March 9th, but that gets us really close to the election on April 13th. So, I keep my fingers crossed. I think the upside is that, you can never have too much conversation other than at some point a decision needs to be made. I've talked to a number of our members. There's a feeling that we need some more galvanized support from the business community, sort of sharing our point of view. We had our own town hall, but I think a lot of the residents were, very engaged in that conversation too. So I think there's a path forward. I think the city has a recommendation. Mike Mena has something. Pat Keon has something. Even Vince Lago, of course, has something. But I think there'll be a path forward with something amalgamated in there. What we're doing currently, status quo, is not working. Nobody, including the chamber, envisions, a skyscraper on Miracle Mile. It isn't allowed now. The current zoning allows you to build to 70 feet, but there may be some give back. That's 6 floors.
Oh, 6.
6 floors, and there's some give back there.
Remember, I'm shorter, so the floors could be smaller.
I understand, but there's some give back there, possibilities, or if you want remote parking or TDRs, transfer development rights, you may have to give up a floor potentially. The city has to be careful because there are obviously individual property rights that they cannot trample on.
Well, great.
And as it currently exists, you can build to 60 feet if you have the frontage and you have the parking. But I know that we can find a way forward. But if we don't do anything and we've spent all this time, energy, and money, brought in great experts, put a lot of thought into it, then I think we're really doing a disservice to the mile. It's struggling, my friend.
The city, because of all these hearings, have become very transparent.
Yes.
Everybody knows what everybody's doing. Nothing's been hidden from anywhere. So congratulations to the city of Coral Gables.
Listen, I've attended 6 now. There were 4 before ours, and then they did another one last night.
So they're being transparent. Somebody has to look past the forest. Can't look just here. You got to look down the future, what it's going to look like.
I agree.
I mean, some of these projects in Coral Gables are just beautiful. That's happening. The one on Pont Circle, I'm just so excited. What's it called? That hotel?
So it's called the Plaza, and you have 2 office towers. You have an apartment tower. You have some retail, and you have the Lowe's. So Jonathan Tisch and his team.
Maybe I should move there.
Listen, we should just get a pad together, a batch pad.
You know how exciting that would be?
I think not only would it be exciting, but...
Do that again.
Doesn't that sound like a great idea?
So that sounds like... So that project is going to draw so many successful people into our community. And Coral Gables is the top city.
And I had a chat last week with the folks from the Lowe's, and my biggest 3 takeaways from that were they're super invested in the community. I want to thank Sarah who had that call with me. They have a great
Which Sarah?
program.
Which Sarah?
Sarah, it works for Jonathan Tish.
Okay.
But she used to live in Miami and worked at the Lowe's Miami Beach for 12 years.
So she understands.
So she knows Miami and she knows this market. But don't think for a moment that probably our Lowe's Coral Gables will be anything like Lowe's Miami Beach, just because of not only location, but our property will have about 240 keys. Miami Beach, of course, is a much larger hotel. I think ours will be more corporate travel with corporate leisure on the weekends. And then you're right in the heart of the downtown, super walkable.
Oh,
it's going to be very important to have them here, and they do good neighbor program, and just can't wait. My second biggest takeaway, Mr. Tish.
Yeah,
I have not.
But
we have emailed.
But you communicated with this guy.
I have,
and he has a
and
lot.
Let me explain to you. I sent him an email. Well, Lee Schrager sent him an email on my behalf, connecting us. I think he responded in less than 5 minutes.
So this guy is. How big? I mean, not physically. How many hotels you got?
Lowe's? Probably hundreds of hotels. Thousands of rooms.
He's a regular guy.
Regular guy. And I've heard that about him for a long time. When they opened Lowe's Miami Beach almost, 20 years ago, they went through a whole RFP process to win that project. That wasn't
that was city property.
A slam dunk. That was city property.
And that Lowe's is run like a machine. Beautiful.
It's a gorgeous hotel.
So when what's his first name?
Jonathan.
When Jonathan comes in town, I'm gonna say, Jonathan, hang out with me. We're gonna go to
I'm
Arbetters.
super excited. They're gonna do a topping off ceremony.
We're gonna go do Arbetters. Then we're gonna go to the Grove. And what's that ice guy's name? The icy guy?
In the Grove.
Tommy in the Grove. What's the guy who sells icy? The ice truck.
I don't know. Why are we going to the Grove?
Well, I gotta take him around. I gotta show him the real Miami.
Show him around the Gables. Bring him back. Get him some Tro Tots. Get him a Grant Miller wiener. He'll still need a second helping.
All right, let's move on. So what's Abe going to do? A podcast where?
Abe and I recorded our podcast. This is my 10th one. So all throughout COVID, we've pivoted to recording it through the Zoom meetings format, and he is my 10th guest over the last year. And we talk about his journey. We talk about
great journey, and his father still works. I don't know if he's
Alan.
Sorry, I call him.
Alan is 80 plus.
ACIC, that's what it is.
Alan is 80 plus.
Right, and he still works. And he makes me look tall. I like that.
He's had to be careful during COVID, but that's where Abe and I have a very similar background. We both are the sons of restaurateurs and entrepreneurs, and much like I did, he grew up in the kitchen and washing dishes and.
Someone's in the kitchen, Mark.
And then he went to Cornell and
you went to Florida.
And I went to Florida, and he
little
studied.
Drop off there.
Well, we like to consider Florida the Cornell of Gainesville. But more importantly, he learned the business, and not just being in the kitchen, but being behind the desk, behind the cash register. One thing I love about Abe, and we're blessed in Coral Gables to have a number of restaurant owners who really get it, is he's never not thinking about what's next.
Well,
he's not ever resting on his laurels.
Yeah, he had the Cantons and loved them in US 1, redesigned it, put a patio on the outside, made it a sushi maki, and the patio outside, I drive by it all the time, is busy. So more power.
Sushi maki is incredible.
Only one Canton's left, real Canton, one in Coral
Gables.
And it's interesting. I was there.
And remember, there was a time when they brought sushi in there and then didn't do it. Then he had his great restaurant, Powtown, and then that moved on. But, business is a series of successes and, challenges. And this pandemic, of course, is the latest one. But they were very smart because he always had his own delivery fleet. So from the minute that they went to delivery and pickup only, he had a team ready to work and do delivery. Not everybody did that. Not everybody could keep people on the payroll to do that. But
and they got a big
those are
staff.
great stories, of course. And they're growing. They're growing. Think about it. They were shuttered at the airport for the most part, the university for the most part.
They had one at UM, I think.
Yeah. And then, they're in the Grove. They're obviously in the Gables.
The Grove has
South
a nice
Miami.
location.
The Grove is a great location. I went to that dedication. It was really awesome. Sushi Maki was already open when I came to the chamber 15 years ago. But I got to go to the one in the Grove, and it was really cool. They cut a giant sushi roll with like a samurai sword. Like it's just really cool.
All right, so we got an upcoming contest coming up? Contest.
So the contest is what we're talking about. We're going to engage with influencers like Abe, like Nick, to grow our social media. So we're in that process now. We just wrapped up the one with Threefold, and the idea was, to like and share, and we're looking at doing something with Sushi Maki. And it's not just in honor of our podcast, but that Sushi Maki last year celebrated 20 years. And they're just going to keep doing
it.
So
now
20
it's 20 years of one restaurant. Every year he's redesigning, redeveloping, reinventing.
So, like one of the cool things that I used to get to do, be careful, was that he maybe would try a new menu item, and he'd invite me over, and we'd get to try it out in his office and give feedback and talk about, the food, the temperature, the texture, the flavors. How does it look? Is it appealing? Where's the price point? I mean, think about that.
He included you.
That's time and energy and ingenuity. Absolutely. And I begged them. I said, please. But, they brought their menu down during COVID. They've made it a little bit more simplified.
They have a great dessert, by the way. Great dessert. Oh, my God.
I don't usually eat dessert.
Where are you?
You know what my thing there is?
What?
So I start with, the miso soup. And then I usually get some type of poke bowl. But their two-time and tuna is my jam because I love
There's
sushi.
Desserts are unbelievable. Ask Abe.
But what is it? Is it like a fried ice cream?
Yes. Oh. Okay. Our new members. We got our members, for the highlights. We already talked about
We did that with the trustees, and I want to thank you for highlighting a lot of them. And we're going to come back around. We have a lot of fun
doing that.
We do have fun.
And the clients like that.
But this is what you do to me. Mark, what do you got? What do you got? I'll be there in 5 minutes.
It works.
I mean,
How about the video I did when you weren't in the office?
What if I had what if I was like in a dating relationship?
Well, you'd have to interrupt to say goodbye.
I'll be right back.
Hold that spot.
It sort of happened yesterday. I was helping out the nephew, and I made it there to be with you. So you were going to ask me something, and I cut you off.
That's right. March 11th. I'm excited about the forum.
Yeah, so at this point, 11 out of the 12 candidates are confirmed.
Who's the one? Rip?
No, Rip is confirmed. So we're going to start with Group 2. So you'll have Rhonda Anderson. You'll have Tanya Cruz Jimenez. You'll have Jackson Rip Holmes. You'll have Jose Valdez Fowley. And you'll have, I think his name is Alex Hack, H-A-Q. We have not been able to connect with Claudia Miro. We have reached out to her a number of times. So Claudia, if you or your people are listening, please reach out to us so that we can confirm you for March 11th. They'll start at 6. 7 o'clock, we'll have Group 3. So you'll have Javier Baños, you'll have Alex Bucello, and Kirk Menendez. And then 8 o'clock is the main event. That'll be Pat Keon and Vince Lago.
Now, there's 5 commissioners, 7 commissioners in court.
There are 5 total. So there are 2 seats that are not up, the seat that George Forrest is in and that Mike Mena is in.
Right, as you know.
But think about it, Grant. 12 people running. I haven't seen a field that deep since I've been at the chamber, and we've gone through, I think, 8 of these cycles. So 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 20, 8.
Speak about elected officials. Bob Welch, South Miami, just passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
He was.
Was he still serving in office?
Yeah. It's what's interesting about Welch. We didn't agree on every issue, but that guy loved Dade County. He loved the city of South Miami.
Yeah.
He planted.
Did he have a nickname?
Bicycle Bob.
Bicycle Bob.
As he rode everywhere. He planted trees free charge. If you want pine trees, you come dig in your yard. So,
well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Missed.
I always admire anybody who puts their name on a ballot, whoever seeks public office, because we're in a day and age now where that's not always easy.
Cancel.
People can be very hard on our elected officials. Yeah, and listen, it's incumbent upon them to be transparent, to be accessible. You mentioned both of those things earlier, and to, represent the people. I think that was one of the challenges with some of these town halls, is that there was a perception that, some of the earlier public meetings weren't as well broadcast or as well announced and noticed. And so, we're making it right, or I should say our elected officials are.
Yes. The reason you were canceled, because now we're in that term. I'm going to cancel this if I don't agree with your politics. But in Gables is doing a great job. By the way, if you have questions for the city commission or the mayors, please email.
Yeah, so that event's going to be a hybrid. So I just want to explain to everybody, because of social distancing and gathering, we are working with our partners at in their beautiful new Lakeside Village to host about 60 people in person. That room is already set up classroom style, so students are in there every single day of the week taking classes, so we know that it works. We're going to go tomorrow and do an AV walkthrough and see if we can try to broadcast it live. But typically we don't do that. Typically we tape it and broadcast it later. But it would be nice. But even if you did it on Facebook Live or if you did it without this studio setup, it's hard. And with a field of 7,
yes, you're going to tape it and you're going to put it on an hour later.
It'll probably be the next day, and then they'll run it several times, and then we'll run it as well. But I just ask people for patience. But if you're not going to be able to be in the venue, so we're giving each candidate, their invitation plus 2 guests so that they can feel some support. We'll have our chamber leadership, our host leadership, any sponsors, and then some students. So that fills up very, very quickly. So
what do we have left going on Coral Gables? That a big event, right? The art, the lights.
The Illuminate Coral Gables continues tonight until 9, 6 to 9, sundown to 9. I volunteered last night, so I was pedaling around. I want to thank Francesca because we were sharing a pedicab because we had a lot of volunteers last night, and she's a trooper, lugging my big butt around. Francesca from the city. We were volunteering last night.
You were in the seat?
I was. And then I was driving too, but she probably did 1, 2, 3, like 5 loops, and I did like 1.
Yeah, but there's a difference. How much more did you weigh than her?
Oh, probably like 900 pounds.
Okay, I like that. 109.
She's very petite. But I would say to her, am I too heavy? And she'd be like, no, it's great. And then she'd be, struggling. By the way, I don't know if people know this, but when you go from Miracle Mile up across Ponce,
there's a hump.
There's a giant hump. It's like, I call it Mount Ponce now.
Yeah, well,
because I had to get up speed when I was trying to get up and over that hump.
Well, what's next?
I assume it's for drainage.
Yeah. Well, right. Goes into the other business. So what's up with Coral Gables Chamber? What's happening?
So listen, folks, it's a strange time, I will tell you that, to be running a chamber. But I want to thank all of our members who have, stuck with us. We're still doing a pretty robust and pretty active programming schedule. This is the busiest time of the year for us, when our members are incredibly active, when business is blooming again. So March is going to be all about business in bloom. Everything that we do focuses on recovery, helping your businesses recover. And I think we're going to be in that stance for quite some time, even as people feel more comfortable going to in-person events. We had a great conversation about that yesterday at our board meeting. And I would say the majority of those who spoke up said it's time. Keep it outdoors, keep it at a modest amount of folks, but let's do like a trustee reception.
I missed 2 things. The trustee luncheon with
Leanne Buchanan was terrific.
She is a bomb.
Love her.
Yeah, she is.
So Leanne and I know each other in a couple circles. Most recently, she was brought in to do D&I work with our Children's Trust, which
people don't know. She's a lawyer. You know that.
Oh, I know. She's a recovering lawyer. She used to work in the Gables.
Yeah.
And so she talked about the restaurants that she loved and were they still there. She's a dynamo. And the thing that I can say most about her is she encourages you to talk, to share, to be uncomfortable, because sometimes when you talk about diversity and inclusion, there may be some discomfort, there may be some misperceptions, there may be some things that you need to really get your arms around. But I will tell you this, she wowed our group. And I asked our chairman, Brian Barakat, I said, she's the perfect type of company that we've been talking about in our D&I work that we want to sponsor their membership for a year to get them engaged. And he looked at me and he handed me his credit card. He goes, I'm sponsoring her company.
She's an inspiration to everybody. All right, reconnect, and then Latrobe knows what's happening with her.
So it's hard to believe, but Monday is March 1st. So we're kicking things off. I'm actually going to remind everybody that March 2nd, Tuesday, when I'll be back here, is Dr. Seuss's birthday.
Whose?
Dr. Seuss. So the whole show will be dedicated to Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss. So we'll talk about One Fish, Two Fish. We'll talk about Horton Hears a Who, and of course the Grinch. And my personal favorite. Do you know what it is?
No.
It's a book about the ABCs.
Oh, I was gonna say green eggs.
Green eggs and ham is really good, but it just makes me hungry, and I'm trying to curtail my eating. By the way, we did a green eggs and ham breakfast one year for sustainability at the Biltmore, and we put the books as the centerpieces, and it was so amazing because people are like, "Can we take the book?" You know, a good hardcover Dr. Seuss book is going to set you back about $15. I'm like, you know what? If you're going to go and maybe give it to somebody, it would be awesome. But I think you're right. I'll give that one to you.
Wait,
as well.
what's
I like
happening?
Horton too because he was kind of a big guy.
What's happening at 7-7 Sports Bar?
That's where our Wind Down Wednesday will be. So I want to thank Fernando and the whole team there. That is on March 3rd.
Where? What's the address?
Well, that's a good question. It's probably like 190 something.
Okay.
It'd be an even number, maybe 196.
What's
It's right
it
on the
say?
corner there of Giralda Plaza and Ponce.
That's correct. So March is like
Well,
roaring
thank you.
like a lion. Why?
It's all about roaring. Our hashtag for March is roar. Like, roar! You know, we're going to really, because you know why? They say March comes in like a lion and what?
I don't know.
Goes out like a lamb. Because in other parts of the country, it's bad weather. But by the time you get to March 31st, spring is around the corner.
Well, yeah, I was talking to somebody from Michigan. And they go, "I wish I was in Miami."
It's been
I
gorgeous.
go. I said, "I want to make it perfectly clear. We don't want anybody else coming.
That's not true at all.
You can come visit. We don't need any more residents."
That is not true at all.
I know, but it sounded good for a second.
We want companies that see the
It was the one guy.
amazing business climate.
Cord Gables has amazing business client. Again, I have to go back to the palace, the plaza.
Mm-hmm.
How many offices are in there?
Well, I mean, I think it's 13 floors, so it's going to be a pretty...
That's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, and there's a second tower that's under construction. The first one already has folks moving in. So, of course, Agave has moved in. PNC out of Pittsburgh has moved in. I think they're in Pittsburgh. Fogo de Chao is going to have a restaurant there. So it's going to be really awesome.
All right, we're all set. I'm excited.
Well, I know you got to run and give an award, so are you ready for me to sign off, big man?
I am ready for you to sign off. This is Mark from the Cord Gables Chamber. We love Cord Gables. You should love Cord Gables. Oh, that's your line. Go ahead.
Hey, you're doing a pretty good job. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thanks for your time. Thanks for your energy. Thanks for your commitment. Chambers are having a tough time of it because you know what? Our businesses have been having a tough time of it. But just like the Red Hot Chili Peppers told you, let's be optimists. Let's look to the future. Recovery is around the corner. It isn't just because we see vaccines more readily available on the horizon or that we continue to wear our masks and take good care of one another. It's the fact that all of us are in this together. Let's support one another. Let's shop local. Let's buy local. And let's love local. Have a great day, everybody.
Great day.